So I'll run through this really quick and then I'll talk about magic again. So I don't want to say the word we, I'll say the word I, with the condition. Absolutely know about this way a long time ago before it was popular. So over a decade, and then before that, say in teenage age, so say these ages. Um, yeah, it's a survival mechanism. People are so unpleasant in normal culture that you just don't engage anymore. It's not worth the energy. But then you can't do anything other than sit in a chair, which is very sad. So I invented these words: semi-hikikomori, which is say slightly high functioning, where you can go out and do certain things, and then there's WHK, Western hikikomori. So if you're a Westerner in living in the West, and you're hikikomori, as opposed to Japanese HK. Anyway, Western hikikomori is semi-hikikomori. So if you can do some things, but a lot of things other that you're not able to, semi-HK. So semi-hikikomori, Western hikikomori. But this is a very, very old concept before it was popular. You always notice that normal people always do things when it's popular. So the three holy grails, or say if you look at normal culture, we'll just call it this for normal culture, NC for normal people culture, you know, normal people meaning NT. I don't really care what you call it. I'll just say normal people equals deliberate mistake on apostrophe. I know it's just that, but it separates the NT from the S. Otherwise it just mushes in together. So it's a deliberate wrong. I'm doing a deliberate wrong on the apostrophe. Anyway, for effect and to make it distinct. Anyway, because I can't always be bothered using capitals, so it's a deliberate wrong on the apostrophe. Anyway, so normal culture, aka NT. My word for normal, for NT, is normal people. The three holy grails or commandments of normal culture, you can extend this to 4, but I call it 3, is, let's just do A, B and C. You can add a 4th if you want. Narrative, emotion, and again, you can make these separate if you want. I synonymise them. And so there's the 3 holy commandments of the normal people religion is narrative, emotion, and again, you can call these 4 if you want. If you want to make a distinction instead of synonymous, and you want to make that 4, you can. I just synonymise it into one thing. So you can have popularity, aka fashionability. Is it fashionable? Is it popular? Again, if you want to separate those in and make 4, you can. I just class them as one thing. Narrative, emotion, and is it popular, aka fashionable? the three holy grails of normal people culture. And never ever, this is social death. Again, they are a mentally very unstable, crazy culture, but the social death is never ever use logic, ever. Never ever use rational arguments. Rational debate, nope, forget that. Rational arguments, rational debate, don't do it. Don't. No logic, no rational debate. Facts. Logical facts, scientific facts, mathematical and scientific. Anything that makes sense, basically throw out the flipping window. It's almost like normal people are on there. This is all normal. This is guys and girls. This is normal culture in general. This is all normal culture. So it's like they're on that. So forget about that. Rational argument, rational debate, nope, throw it in the bin. So, statistical facts and logical facts goes in the bin. And these things are the holy flipping grail. They're like the Ark of the Covenant of normal religion. Narrative, emotion, fashionability, popularity. And if you want to add another extra one, something I call CC, copy culture. So, CC, copy culture. So I did pass a group of young, normal people yesterday, maybe, I think it was yesterday, and when I was buying Fire material. Anyway, and they were all carbon copies. They all dressed the same way and talked the same way and acted the same way and walked the same way. Carbon copies, so like clones. So again, fine, that's their culture. My problem is they're forcing it on non-members that I get annoyed with. But and they don't know why they're doing it consciously. But anyway, so yeah, copy culture. So they won't even know why they're copying. They will just copy, out of sort of pure instinct. So double C or CC, copy culture, which the copy culture links in very strong with the popularity, fashionability section of these three tenets, of their religion, the normal religion. CC, copy culture. So there you go. In their mentally insane religion, these are in the bin. What's interesting is it's a sort of extreme feminine thing, and I have that with magic. I have the intuition of the feminine, and I'm not so good at the rigid science, so I have that side of the brain, that sort of feministic, right-brained creative thing. I have that, and I'm not so good at the rigid stuff all the time. But what's interesting is that both genders in the normal culture do it. They act as a whole. This isn't just normal girls that do it, NT guys do it. So again, they act as a whole culture. So yeah, here's where your gold mine is of information. Yeah. I suppose studying Western psychology just as an autodidact, like self-study. I'm not saying you need to get a formal, master's degree or professorship, but just some self-readership, self-study on Western psychology might brush up a bit on helping to understand if anyone wants to know. But these things. What's very sad and very dangerous with the normal culture is that, which you see with the Soviet thing a long time ago, is that because of the copy culture and because they just blindly copy whatever's fashionable, the very dangerous thing is when it gets hijacked by a dangerous force like demons, or dark forces, from the underworld. It's very easy to, because they don't really seem to. I'm not saying all of them, but as normal culture in general doesn't seem to understand. Doesn't always, I'll say doesn't always, maybe sometimes, doesn't always seem to understand right from wrong, or maybe confuses popular with right. So it's called the popular fallacy. In Western philosophy, there's a Latin name, ad populum something or other. I've forgotten the full title. Ad populum something, I'm not sure, but it basically, so in normal culture, the popular fallacy would be like, say, so let's say 1 plus 1 is 2 in real life, okay, in logical world, but normal culture doesn't live in logical world, it lives in mentally insane world. So in normal culture, 1 plus 1 doesn't. So let's say, it's just, me, or just one autistic guy, or whatever, right? It's just 1% or 0.1%. Let's just say it's 0.1%, 0.1% of the population, right? It's just little old me, or a couple of, so-called weird people on the fringe, right? We know 1 plus 1 is 2, right? But the popular fallacy in normal culture would say, well, 99.9 ... percent, believe that 1 plus 1 is actually 9. And because might in normal culture, might makes right, physical force, because the raw numbers are on their side, they'll go, well, look, 99+% of the population believe that 1 plus 1 is 9. And, only a tiny fraction of you guys believe that it's 2. So we must be right, because look how many people. So you can see again how normal logic works versus real scientific logic. Normal logic is just insane, right? But this is how it works. This is how it works in their culture. So again, ad populum, a popular fallacy. In their culture, everyone else believes that it's 9. Well, look how they can't be wrong because they're the majority. Because logos stands on its own. So logos is a universal truth. So logos would be true whether the individual believed it or the group believed it. This is why logos is good for people that don't necessarily have power. The truth is available to everyone, poor people, rich people, everyone. It's constant. Whereas with relativism and skepticism, because they are tools of the elite, and probably were with Dracos in ancient Greece, the tyrant, and other tyrants, was that, as EMJ would put it, the truth is the opinion of the powerful. Whereas in Logos, it's not. It's universal to all. The truth is universal to poor and rich, to powerful and powerless. It's universal to everyone. But in their culture, it's really strange, isn't it? But this is how it functions. They think that, again, the popular fallacy, ad populum, that it's true because enough people. And there is something to that in magic. There is a thing in that where you can sort of create your own reality. I mean, we won't go into that, but there is something to that, actually. And there's a very powerful feministic force here, again, that uses a type of magic. So again, this is very interesting. It's all subconscious, of course. They're not consciously aware they're doing any of this. They're sort of acting, I suppose you could say, like a swarm of birds, if you've ever watched the Nature documentary, when the swarm of birds act as one unit, even though there's like thousands or millions of them. When they do like a dance in the sky, they're acting as one unit, even though there's a lot of them, like tens of thousands, for example. So I think normal society maybe functions like that, but again, yes, from a logical, rational point of view, that's insane. But again, from a feministic magic point of view, it depends on your POV. Actually, there's something to it, and it's a very powerful force. So I would say if you're too on that scientific factual side, I'd say actually try and investigate, because again, there's a very powerful magical force there. It's just that I think in the West, people have been trained with this very rigid, which is all good, but actually, again, investigate this with more of an open mind. It's very interesting. The power of the feministic forces. Very interesting, very powerful, because as you know, they use it to smash people into submission with their bizarre culture, so it kind of works in a weird way. But yeah, popular fallacy. And then the problem is, if they go mental with it, is that they'll do, say engineering formula or physics formula, form U L A E. So they'll start doing formula, like x equals y times z. Just I'm just making that up. I know it's not a real thing, but just say, for example, e.g., x equals y times z. That's their formula. But because, again, they think that if enough people believe 1 + 1 is 9, it is. Which, again, there's a very strong magical force to that, but we'll go into that in a minute. They might design a bridge with that formula in mind, and then the bridge will collapse, and you'll tell them this is insane and it's a safety hazard, but they still don't care. They literally, AA would say they are auto-destructive, and I think so. But again, this is how it might seem absolutely like the open-air mental asylum, but this is how it works. So they think if enough people believe it's true, which again, if you go to the very unrigid side, the very right-brained side, the other side, there's a very powerful magical force in that needs investigating. But yes, so they will use that. They will apply this theory to, building things, and the bridge will break, and yes, it's very odd on the surface. The normal culture is very odd, I'm going to be honest. It's like, I don't know, is it like the Cat in the Hat? I don't know. I like that story, actually, and I like Fox in Socks as well. That one's a good one. Very good for out the box people that aren't mainstream. Very good. But yeah. Oh, the Emperor's story, the Emperor with no clothes. I think maybe that's them, and I think I'm the boy that points out the truth. I'm the little boy, and then no one likes it because the little boy's pointing out the truth. Whereas I think they're the ones, like the Emperor and the supporters of the Emperor, that say, yes, you've got wonderful clothes. So again, I'm the little dude who says no, he doesn't, just points out the truth basically, and then they can't. They really have this war against the truth. I'm not sure what that is, and I wonder if it's making them unhappy. But anyway, so there you go. 3 holy grails of normal culture, or 3 or 4 plus copy culture. If you want to make them 5, you can. You could say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is copy culture. But I sort of blend these into. It depends how many you want to do, and then you can make up your own ones. But these are just my ones. Yeah, the holy commandments of normal culture, normal people religion, and the deadly sins. These are like, in Christianity you've got the 7 deadly sins. These are the 3 deadly sins of normal culture. Yeah. Statistical facts, scientific facts, put it in the bin. Rational debate, rational argument, it goes in the bin. Using logic, nope. Throw it away. Nope. Load of rubbish. Not in normal world. Not where it's insane. Anyway, that's another thing, like, non-mainstream people, ND, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you want to call it. People outside the box will be doing stuff for ages, do it before it's fashionable, and then all people do it when it's very very late and outdated, and then they'll say, "Oh, look, we've discovered this new thing." It's like, no, I've been doing that for ages. You just ignored me, you know. Very slow to catch up, but they have the power with the raw numbers. So there you go. And they're into this because they fit into this very worldly power scheme. And there's two sections. There's the psychological, manipulation they love to do, which is probably one of their favourite activities. Again, it doesn't come across very like a healthy culture. It comes across like a mentally very sick and mentally unwell culture. That's not healthy for a culture to behave like that. And then there's the physical. So there's the psychological manipulation, and there's the physical force. So the biggest thing in physical force is the collectivism, the raw numbers, and the stamping out dissent. So if, again, the example of 5 guys versus 1 big dude, the 5 will win, because even if the guy's slightly big, 5 people weigh more than 1 guy, generally. Yeah, so the gang weighs more than the big guy by himself. So raw numbers and collectivism, that's the biggest physical force they have. And the second one is the individual that does the Western weight training and sometimes abuses the steroids. I won't say sometimes, because it's quite popular in normal culture to do that, with the having to pretend that you're not. Very important end point there. They have to pretend they're not, even though they're, for a reason that I'm sure other people know that I still don't know. So yes, they're very into this, and they fit in. It's almost like they've been designed for this, and I have not. So I am definitely would certainly miss the F&F, but I need to write it down. There we go. Friends and family, so yes. We'll clear up the picture. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, certainly would with the friends and family. Certainly yes. But there's a lot of the electric power that I've been taken away from makes me feel very very PH, I think also the contrast, because they've got their power, they've got their psychological Machiavellianism and their physical force with the collectivism and the Western weight training with the steroids, but yes, not all, but an unhealthy percentage. So they've got their power. Mine seems to have, I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's God or, again, the multiverse, the universe, the great zebra in the sky, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't want me to have my power. It wants them to have their power, but not mine. And I do feel very PH. Very PH. So yeah, I think I'm looking at this here. My external self might look human. I think I'm looking at being one of this, or somewhere in this region. It wouldn't surprise me here. It's looking like this, or something along those lines. And again, we have Legacy of Kain. We have Shadow Man, and then we have especially the late Angel TV series spin-off, series on TV years ago and DVD, but I'll just wait for the picture to clear. Never mind, it's not going to clear. Right, there we go. So the Angel TV series, it's a spin-off, and then there's the Shadow Man game and the Legacy of Kain game. And again, absolutely friends and family in this world for my life, yes, and I don't want to, go away from that, but at the same, because I know I don't fit in any way, shape or form, and they know I don't, the normal culture, and they flipping smell it. They certainly do, but again, it's to do with this as well. They have their Machiavellianisms and their physical power with the collectivism and the WT, and I don't have my electrical power or my telekinesis or my teleportation. What was that program called? So in this program, I'll try and find the clip when she's grown up, seeing Denise off to school and does teleportation. But what I like about the magic is it's organic as opposed to technology, which I find very hyper rigid and very, very normal world. But anyway, I like that it's more organic and more in the natural world, or supernatural if you like. It just feels more organic and more natural. But yeah, so I don't seem to have my powers. Yeah, can't magically teleport in this reality. I don't seem to really be able to do almost anything. It's all gone. As I say, it's all designed for them. Just imagine, everyone suddenly is speaking Swahili. Yeah, and this is their culture, but I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I do a bit because I've been forced to study it, which I resent, but very true here. Yeah, I'll just finish off saying this really quick. Just ignore what I said about families in the last video. Because, I don't know, just please. I was going to delete it and I tried to edit it, but I can't edit because YouTube Studio won't work on this phone because it's an old style phone and it's not that powerful, so I can't seem to cut out. I wanted to cut out the last 3 minutes. I don't want to talk about any kind of optimism or anything like that. So, I don't know, it was good about the antinatalism, I just don't like the last bit. Load of rubbish. So, yeah, but anyway, so just ignore it, but as I say, just ignore the last 3 minutes where I talk about families, or having one, but as I say, I feel like I might need to delete that even if it took me ages, because it won't let me edit it, and I don't like that very small dialogue about it. I don't like it. I just don't, so yeah, you can either people can try and ignore it, or if they don't, if it's unignorable, then I'll have to delete the video. So we'll do another video about that. Working class plus middle class equals my own word that I made up. Working plus middle. Yeah, I grew up poor in a middle class rich road, so yeah, Western poor. Anyway, it's for another video. But yeah, this is very sad. This contrast is very hard for me. And then, obviously, I can't. Like, there's really nothing I can do. You know? I just. I have no powers, they've all been taken. It's horrible, isn't it? Isn't it horrible? See, the physics of their world and physics of my world are different. Very quickly, because I've only got 1 minute left, so in my world there's this style of teleportation, then there's the electric power I've got, and then there's this activity. Yeah. And the He-Man wizards of TWC, traditional Western culture. Yeah. It's not. The physics of their world isn't of mine. And that's another thing they imagine, that because the physics of this world is a certain thing that apply. Again, they have this very one-size-fits-all that must apply to every world. They have no concept of diversity, even though they go on about liberalism and being liberal and diverse. But they have no concept of true, authentic diversity. They don't know what it is. Yeah, I can't do that. I don't have my electrical power. I can't do that. So I'll leave it at that. But